Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age. How are we all doing?
Doing good.
Oh, pretty good.
Excellent. So,
Great intros.
without further ado, who wants to tell me what happened the last time we played this game?
Well, the last time we started out, we had, we were just parting ways with Puck after a successful rescue, where nothing went wrong, everything was fine. We got in, we got out, he was fine, we left. It was great. No, it wasn't. But anyway, so yeah, we
I mean,
teleported
honestly, it
home.
went better than it could have.
Oh yeah, it definitely went
Yeah.
better than it could have done, all things considered. But yeah, we went. So yeah, we'd said our goodbyes. So we teleported with Keziara back down to Ivywood Market, where work on the castle was very much underway because it seems that the dwarven masons had shown up. And when we got there, things had been very quiet, but not the good kind of quiet, but the bad kind of quiet. Our trusty spy over in Casport had missed her report day, which is unusual for her because she's usually bang on time. So that had gotten Vondal a bit worried, as well as just a general silence all over the place. But luckily, fears were suppressed when we did a quick sending spell, got in contact with her, and she said that there'd been some important developments and she was actually on her way in person to deliver this report. So that presented an interesting setting, basically. So then we were like, well, what do we do now? There was a few nice in-character chats with various NPCs about the keep, which you should go back and check out if you haven't seen. Elizabeth zipped off to Argentellorund to continue researching into the possibility of making that brand new spell that can detect the disturbances in the flows of magic caused by creations of these idols that we want to destroy because they're part of the evil god-slaying magic. But while she was gone, our spy returned with some juicy information. Namely that there'd been suspicious activity in Willow River as a gang of pickpockets and thugs were being kind of muscled out of their territory by a strange new third party who'd been, recruiting lots of new people. But then said recruits would turn up massively disfiguredly dead. Very, very dead, very disfigured, and of course all these criminals are getting the blame, even though it's very much not their style. So that's incredibly suspicious, because, as we all know, disfigured bodies and cults go absolutely hand in hand all the way down the aisle and say the vows. And then the other report she brought back was weird stuff happening near Lunalus in Dragonborn territory, whereby a group of separatists had beaten back a Dragonborn claw, I think it was.
Yes.
Despite their disorganized nature, and there are rumors circling around about how they were able to do this. One such rumor is that they used stolen gunpowder, which is alarming to us because we've had personal involvement in a similar thing. And the other alarming rumor was that they're being helped by a young white dragon. So our response to these developments was to send our elite squad that we've had recruited, led by Lars, up to Willow River to conduct investigations of the suspicious activities happening there. And we have sent the dream duo of Thalithsyr and Sodani down to Lunalus to investigate these rumors. although they are under strict orders to not engage if it's a dragon. So they're just on reconnaissance, staying out of trouble, whereas our main squad are going on a more thorough investigation. In the meantime, the rest of the party is actually staying put to hold down the fort with Vondal.
They're holding the fort, they're not holding down the fort. The fort is not inflatable.
Not yet, at least.
That's the goal for the future.
Holding down the fort because eventually it's going to fly. It's gonna be just like that scene from Borderlands 2.
Oh no! Like,
It's gonna rise up into the sky, and then Tiff is just gonna yell, "Catch a rat!" No.
Yes.
And then there will be a giant hole in the ground next to Ivywood Market.
Yep. Well, hang on. The fort's built on a hill, so it wouldn't be. It'd be less of a giant hole and more just suddenly the land is now flat.
Depends on how much you bring along. But
Yeah, I suppose it could be a hill with a hole in it.
Yeah, it depends if you go all Sokovia on it.
Yeah.
I like my giant floating island in like an iceberg shape.
Anyway. So, with that, I think the first place we start off is where we left off with Elizabeth. As you arrive, backpack full of books, in the teleportation circle in Argenthalrund. Unlike the usual welcoming parties that you are used to at this point, you are greeted only by a single individual in the like the campus security garb, who greets you, checks you over, and just sort of generally directs you about the campus, as you are a relatively frequent visitor at this point.
Yeah, you could say that.
So, you make your way to the main library within the Academy Hall. Make your generous donation of a number of books, which has the usually rather stalwart librarian looking like an excited child as they look over the books.
Yeah. Well, as she makes a donation, she's probably going, "These are all actually from Latherman's personal library, so keep them safe, yeah?"
She looks at you as if you've given her the most grievous insult you could possibly imagine. Narrows her eyes at you and says, "I will ensure these are put away in the right conditions. Don't you worry."
Sorry, I don't doubt it. I'm sorry if I caused offence.
She very carefully stacks them up and starts to catalogue them. But yes, you are free to go about the library in search of whatever it is that you are looking for.
Yeah. Cool. So, I guess what I'm looking for is books on how to go about creating magic.
Okay.
Magic spells.
So go ahead and give me...
And hopefully cross-referencing them with the Latherman books on...
Yes. Go ahead and give me an extended investigation check. Okay.
Oh, come on.
So you spend the majority of the day from your arrival to probably getting a reasonable portion of the way towards the evening, looking through all of these books and finding even the faintest scraps of information, both with the librarian's help and with your own sort of inclinations based on what you read previously in Lathaman's notes. And eventually you find yourself no longer able to work, books stacked around you, as you are gripped with like overwhelming feelings of hunger.
Damn it. Curse you, feeble stomach.
Well, considering you haven't eaten since this morning.
Curse you, feeble stomach. No. I guess yeah. I guess that means it's time to have a break.
Okay.
Carefully put the books back for now, and find somewhere in the Moon District to eat if I can.
Yep. Yeah.
If I don't
There's.
have to go too far, that's the ideal.
I mean, it's a university district. Like, there's plenty of fast food places for students.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get a Mackey's.
Okay. That doesn't exist, but we will find something.
I know, I'm making a joke.
I know.
Fast food places.
Yes.
And I'm also using a bit of British slang.
I was gonna say a Mackey's.
A Mackey's, yeah, McDonald's.
Honestly, that sounds like a place a halfling is running.
It's a Mackey's, yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
A halfling called Mac.
Yeah,
Hey, welcome to Mackey's!
Right.
pretty much.
So, you find something to eat, spend a silver piece to fill yourself sufficiently.
I will do that.
And yeah, I guess where do you go from having eaten?
I guess, what time is it by now?
Probably getting towards like late into the evening. Maybe like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so the library's probably not going to be open for much longer, if at all.
Well,
Or would it?
it might not be staffed for much longer, but it's still technically open.
Hmm.
And if you're working, then yeah, you're not a student, so you're not bound by the opening hours of the library.
Yeah, fair. I mean, this is important, so Elizabeth's kind of going to push it as much as she can.
Okay.
Like, maybe just keep working for another 4 hours.
Okay. So you head back into the library, start to regather your collection of heaped books, bring out your own books, go through them, and whilst you're making rough headway on sort of the art of spell creation. A lot of the books you're finding is on sort of the historical practice of it rather than the like actual dynamics of creating it. Mostly from what you gather from reading through these books is people who created spells in the past were either members of a clique of wizards who all worked together to create spells, or were ancient figures of grand renown like Lathaman or Mordenkainen, who were themselves part of a clique in the Council of Eight, but created multiple sort of spells in their lifetime. The more you read these books, the more you're getting the feeling that this is not a one-man job.
Yeah.
Unless you are exceptionally skilled. Your study is interrupted for a second time this evening by a small but polite clearing of the throat.
Probably still makes her jump a little bit. But she's like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, you look up and standing just across from your table is one of the academy professors that you have met previously during one of your previous escapades here. The acting head of abjuration, Professor Lauren.
Ah.
She looks at you and just sort of says, Agiad, correct?
Yeah, Elizabeth Agiad, that's me. Is there something you wanted, Professor?
Not especially. Matter of curiosity, personally.
Hmm.
She sort of gestures around you to the library that is completely empty with no other lights on save the lights that you have. A little late for some light reading.
I wouldn't call it light reading.
She looks at the stack of books and says, no, perhaps not.
Though you're right, it is getting quite late. Maybe I should be going.
Do you make an effort to move?
I mean, yeah. How long has it been? Do I have any idea?
I mean, like, you said you were staying for 4 hours. It's like almost 10 o'clock at night by now.
Yeah. In that case, yeah, probably is gonna start getting up to go.
Okay.
Except putting her own books out. Get ready to go away first.
Professor Lauren sort of, like, steps over and sort of helps you, like, collate the books together. Like, looks at a couple of the titles and looks at you sort of, like, quizzically and just sort of says, this is, quite hefty stuff.
Yeah. Call it a curiosity? Okay, no. I mean, hey, we're getting into hefty stuff, so she just shrugs.
That was decidedly vague.
Yeah. I guess you could say we've come into a problem that cannot be solved by existing magics that I am aware of.
And so you're looking for a bespoke spellcasting solution to your problems.
Yeah. I guess you could say that.
Might I inquire exactly what it is that you're hoping to achieve?
Think of detect magic, but bigger.
Bigger how?
Like, say able to detect ripples within the flow of magic itself.
You want the ability to detect aberrations in magic?
I guess?
She sort of like looks a little quizzical at that and just says, that's rather a grand ambition to be achieved by a single spell.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the feeling I've been getting reading and researching.
She, like, pauses for a moment, like, puts some of the books away, and then turns back to you and sort of says, who are you working with on this project?
Well, the Amber Eagle, I guess.
Ah, so this isn't an academic project.
No.
I see. She sort of like looks around and just sort of says, "Are you the only person working on this?"
Well, I am one of the only. I'm one of the only. Well, one of the only spellcasters in the Eagle. I'm the one who knows the most about this kind of stuff.
She chuckles a little under her breath. Just sort of says, "I think if you're trying to find a solution by yourself, you're going to be waiting quite a while."
Yeah, again, I was getting that impression.
She goes back to sort of quietly putting the books away.
I don't know what to say.
We don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
If you say nothing, the two of you continue to tidy up in relative silence.
Yeah.
She helps you finish putting the books away and says, "Well, good luck in your endeavours."
Thank you, and well, I hope things continue well for you and for the college.
There is like the faintest hint of an eye roll as you say this, and she sort of sighs. Says, "I have no doubt that the college will continue to amble along as ever it does."
You sound like you're not too happy with everything.
Happy is subjective, but I wouldn't concern yourself with that.
It's probably not my business anyway.
She doesn't react to that.
Well, thank you for the help, and I won't take up any more of your time. You're probably tired.
She sort of just takes that in for a moment and just sort of says, "Not exactly, but I appreciate the sentiment."
She probably hovers awkwardly because both me and her are now going like, "Is there more to that?" And then,
Well,
like, probably shouldn't
she's an elf, so
Well, yeah, okay, true.
she doesn't get as tired as others do.
Fair. Well, I guess I'll go find somewhere to stay.
She nods and says, "I'm sure there's plenty of places in the district looking with room for someone for the night."
Yeah.
With that, she bows slightly to you and just turns away and walks up the corridor.
I'll get some distance before I leave as well.
Okay.
Unless she was leaving in a different direction.
Yeah, she was basically like going back into the academy as opposed to heading out.
Well, in that case, yeah, I'll just go straight away.
Okay. Yeah, you head out, find a place to
I
stay
want to do that awkward thing where you say goodbye and then you walk
in the same direction.
for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes.
No, it's you are heading in different directions.
Cool.
So yeah, go ahead and deduct another silver piece and find somewhere to stay for the night.
Cool. the silver piece gone.
Okay. So I guess my question is, do you want to continue this approach for as long as it takes, or have you got different ideas?
The problem is, she's right, and help would be a very good idea and very welcome. But she doesn't know who to ask.
Okay.
So she's probably just going to press on with what she's been doing.
Okay. You continue on with researching.
Oh,
In that case, we will jump scenes back to the Amber Eagle. As the evening after you send out your recruits or your personnel to their various missions comes and passes, and you awaken the next morning as everyone is preparing to head out on their various missions. Is there anything that anybody wants to do?
Arya probably has a letter to mail, but I don't
Okay.
have that letter for you.
That's fine.
IRL. So.
Okay, so yeah,
You had a week.
you go ahead and
My week has been crazy.
No, I'm
relatable.
kidding.
Yeah, you go ahead and head out and mail that letter. Anybody else?
like, I've been thinking, but I can't think of anything specific beyond like just generic stuff
Okay.
that I'd be like doing anyway.
Yeah, so you're just going about your stuff. Yeah,
You
make
can actually drill the mercenaries yourself for once.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I feel like I don't want to do that. Well, actually, I might help Fundal out because.
yeah.
You've got to show them that you're the boss.
Yeah, but like, just because I'm the boss doesn't mean I need to do the drills. I just need to instruct people to do drills.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
But yeah. Well, considering we're missing one of our instructors, I might fill in for them.
Okay.
Or drill masters, or what are they called?
Well, I don't know. That's as the boss, it's your job to think of titles.
Yeah, that's.
Dang it. Honestly, I just have to sit down and think of the most gnomish names possible.
Oh god, does that mean all of our titles are going to be really, 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 really long?
Probably.
God damn it.
There's going to be way too many titles, and they're going to be way too long.
Everyone's going to have like 4 titles each.
But admittedly, that has been a slow process coming up with that stuff.
Everyone gets 4 titles, and everyone gets to add of the Amber Eagle onto the end of their name.
Yeah. Because how else would you know who they belong or who they work with?
I was going to say, who they belong to is getting into sketchy territory.
Well, that's how you say that sometimes.
What
Yeah.
group we belong to, even.
Yeah.
What affiliation you have. Yeah, so if nobody has anything expressly that they want to do or say to the mercenaries that are departing, the mercenaries head off on their way.
They're still here, aren't they?
For a little while, yes.
I think I said everything I had to say last time.
Yeah.
They're doing final preps.
Yep, so they do final prep and head out. And... Oops, I did not mean to click that one. Yeah, so they head out on their objective. Vondal and Grim go through the morning's training. Grim, unknown to the rest of the mercenaries, but between you and Vondal, Vondal does prepare detect magic when he drills the troops in the morning.
Yes.
And reports to you nothing out of the ordinary.
Good. Yeah, we'll just do that every so often. Doesn't need to be every day.
Yeah.
At least not now.
Not at the moment, yeah. But yeah, you spend the good part of the morning drilling the troops, and when Vondal dismisses them for basically like doing their individual tasks, going out on patrol, etc., doing what it is that they're supposed to be doing, he turns to you and says, whilst with everything dealt with, I feel like we've got a brief window of time here. Do you want to have a look at this new cook?
Oh, the cook. Yes. We might as well get that out of the way, considering you're going to be a little bit more busy now that Zidani's is gone.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe we can, if we can get him on board today, then maybe we can get him kicked off and sorted out, and then we can sink into a more regular routine.
Yeah, and like it's I don't see anything. Yeah, like what's the worst that could happen, right? But let's see if we can get him on.
Yep. Okay. The two of you head out into Ivywood Market, and as you head into the town itself, you are immediately aware of the town has always been relatively busy. Like it is a major town on a trade route. So it's never exactly been quiet, but it is definitely looking busier than it has done the last couple of times you've been down here, which, considering how circumstances have changed recently, is not terribly surprising. The city itself seems to be thriving relatively well. The wooden palisade that exists around the outside of the town, that when the first time you arrived here was basically like partially destroyed in places from the nearby Knoll siege.
Yeah.
The palisade has been completely rebuilt and recently reinforced with a perimeter ditch around it and a couple of towers here and there. They're clearly putting some of the spent dragon revenue to use in better protecting the town.
Yeah, well, considering we're probably sourcing a lot of our materials from here, they're probably swimming in gold right now.
Yes, yeah. The economy is definitely on the up within Ivywood Market.
Turns out, if you want your town to prosper, just pop a mercenary camp next to it.
Just invest in it.
I feel like build a castle is also a pretty good way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and source all of your materials locally and employ all of the villagers to do stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we have committed to Ivywood Market.
Yes, and the effect of so doing is noticeable.
Good. Have the shops leveled up? Can we buy more magic items?
Doesn't quite work like that, I'm afraid. That said, though, like the shops are stocking a broader range of things. Trade is clearly thriving.
Well, that's good. That means they have more money. I can sell this inventory full of dragon bones I've got.
But yes, you head to the Silvered Goblet in Ivywood Market, the more upmarket tavern of the two major taverns in Ivywood. Except instead of taking you sort of in through the front door, Vondal takes you around sort of like the staff entrance in the back. Politely sort of knocks on the door. The door is answered by a human woman who is wearing sort of like a I guess it's sort of like a short dress. Sees the two of you there. Vondal says, "Good morning. We're hoping to speak to Halban." She nods, says, I'll go and find him. I think he's in this morning. She heads inside. A few moments pass, and then the door is opened again, and despite the slightly grubby chef's apron that he is wearing, there is a relatively sharply dressed halfling in front of you, with medium length black hair and a thin and well kept goatee. He sees Vondal, sees you, turns to Vondal and says, Vondal, I assume this is a business call then? Vondal nods and says, yes, Harmon, this is Grim that I was telling you about. He offers you a hand, and so says, yes, I've heard a great deal.
Yes, I will shake his hand. Open.
Thanks. Yeah, he nods and says, Halban Dayglow at your service.
Halban Dayglow. Well, Halban Dayglow, I heard you were interested in helping us out over at the keep.
He nods quite enthusiastically and says, yes. Whilst my my career has been going relatively well here at the Silver Goblet, I am looking for a little change of pace. I was speaking to your friend Vondal one evening, and he had some quite interesting things to say about the company you keep, and, well, I was thinking that perhaps I could lend some of my more creative talents to your aid.
So, well, just to be clear, so what are you expecting to be doing from what Vondal said?
Well, from the majority of the part, it seems like you need somebody who is capable of running a kitchen and preparing food for multiple soldiers. But that, on occasion, you are host to some more interesting individuals who might need a slightly more expanded palate.
I guess it wouldn't be. I guess that is definitely something we should invest in. Considering we've had, we've even had some royal company, and our ability to cook is limited.
He notices. Yes, Vondal mentioned you had some elven ambassadors come to visit.
Oh yes,
that I am particularly interested in. I've always had a what is the word? A piqued interest when it comes to elven cuisine and their many styles of preparation. I've always wanted to try my hand in a proper setting, you know.
Okay. Well, I think we can afford to give you some creative freedom.
He offers like a short bow and just says, most gracious of you.
I think it will be good. Perhaps every now and then perhaps you can make something a little more exciting for the troops. But we'll see how that works out and all that. Yeah, I think that will be good for morale.
He smiles and says, I am certainly capable of experimenting on a budget.
Well, we don't the budget isn't all. It still has to be good food.
Although of course.
Sometimes we need it. It's nice to go a little above and beyond. Because I imagine, well, most notably, I think the next big event is probably going to be once the keep is done or the castle's done. But don't worry, we'll not if we're going to have a feast, we're not going to force you to do it on your own. That would be
he chuckles and says, "Ah, no. I certainly have my fair share of talents, but I am not 10 men."
exactly. But I believe we can could use you if you if you're still up for it.
If you are happy to have me, then I am happy to go. I need only resolve my affairs here, and I am yours.
That would be expected. So there are few things worse than somebody just leaving unannounced.
He says, if that is the case, then perhaps you will excuse me if I cut to business, as I believe Vondal mentioned there is potential for down payment.
That can be arranged.
Vondal sort of like says, "Ah, yes, I forgot I'd mentioned that. I think it's reasonable what he's asking in terms of I guess you might call it a severance fee."
What is this reasonable fee?
Vondal makes a faux very serious face for a moment and says, "He's asking for 40 gold."
That's quite a steep fee.
That's what I said. Halban sort of offers a shrug and says, "It's what I'll lose out on if I lose my contract here."
Well, but you will be gaining new income from us as well, so you won't be losing the full 40 gold, now would you?
Not exactly, no, but it will help me settle a few arrangements here before I start work.
Well, how long will it take for you to get your things in order?
It shouldn't be more than a day.
So, how about so if I hand you 40 gold right now, you would could you turn up tomorrow? Or would that be too quick?
He thinks about it for a moment and so says, "I would have to settle the matter of my morning shifts, but..."
Okay. Well, that's only fair to your current establishment. I guess that will. How about this? When is your shift done?
Today or tomorrow?
Today.
Today I will be done in approximately 3 hours.
And that, what time will it be at that, roughly?
That'll be just after lunch, so 2 p.m.
I know this might be a bit much on a single day, but how about this evening you come over and make dinner, and then we'll leave you tomorrow to finish the rest of your affairs, and then you start actually start the day after, just so we can just to get a I guess so we can get a clue of what things are like.
Yeah, he ponders for a moment and says, a trial of my abilities, perhaps.
It's kind of a trial, and simultaneously, well, I'm guessing you'll need things that we might not have, and then that will give us a day to make some arrangements.
I see. Yes, no, that seems perfectly acceptable to me.
Excellent. Well, then I guess I best not keep you from your work. I guess I will. I'll pay up front. And or would you? Well, I can. Oh, actually, I'll give you the option. Would you? I don't know if you want to carry it around during your shift.
Wait, you were serious about giving it to me now?
Yes. Wait, I don't like when I'm not kidding around. Is that
I assumed that was a figure of speech. Perhaps when I come later this evening would be
Yes.
more appropriate.
I believe so. Well, we'll see you tonight.
I will see you then. I look forward to it.
And well, just a little nod and looking for Doll. Anything
Yeah.
else?
Well, I think that's all here, unless there's something else you need to do in town.
Well, I guess you might as well have a look. It's been a while. See what the town is up to.
Rolling in cash. Our cash.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's not our cash anymore now, is it?
It's not our cash anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Halban makes to close the door, and he says, if that is all, then I shall bid you gentlemen adieu.
yes, that's you.
Closes the door, and you hear him shout from the other side of the door, "Tallithsyr, I shall be leaving."
Holy shit!
Oh wow.
See, that is like honestly a tiny minus in his on his side, but
Oh
What?
come on, that was funny.
well, like you'd hope he'd like be a little bit more gentle about it, but oh well.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
At least he's finishing his shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's finishing his shift and he's doing tomorrow's shift.
Apparently, his accent gets stronger when he's excited. That was not intentional.
Apparently. It's weird how that happens, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
hey,
sounds
there are people
exciting.
whose accent comes out more in certain situations, not necessarily when they're around said accent.
That's true.
Like
Yeah, fair.
my partner gets more scouse when she's angry. That's just a thing. Some people do
Well,
that.
I guess accents come out when passion is about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whether it's angry passion or other kinds of passion.
What?
What
Whether it's angry passion or regular passion.
Well, it can be excitement. You can be like that kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
I know what he means. Yeah. Okay. So you head away from the Silvered Goblet and take a look around town. Is there anything sort of just in particular you're looking for, or are you just having a look?
oh no, this is just. This wasn't meant as I was looking for anything. It was just.
Ah, yeah. So
because-
just a character, like look around the city. And,
Yeah, because
He's window shopping.
Yeah.
I believe is the term.
well, not even necessarily window shopping. More just getting taking in the state of affairs because we haven't been around much.
Yeah.
Much less, actually in.
So basically, what you're looking for is
The
that
town.
thing you get in Mountain Blade, where you go to a town and it gives you a little rundown of how.
Ah, yes. Definitely.
Not just a wall of stats. No.
Just a wall of stats. Or like
No.
I have like
No, not
tiny...
all the stats. He just wants like a paragraph where it's like, the citizens appear to be doing well. The fields are full.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you wander around the town, and the general consensus is that the place is doing well. The building that you went to previously that was contained the Burgermeister's office, which was basically like the seemed to be like the hub for town management, has just got people coming and going from it like fairly consistently. Like it seems like he has even more work on his hands than he did the last time you were here. The most major change about the city, or the town rather, is the fact that whilst previously the town was filled with all sorts of odds and ends in terms of mercenaries, it still is filled with odds and ends in terms of mercenaries, but the majority of them appear to be wearing your colours.
As they should.
Yes.
There's a monopoly in town.
Yes, the town definitely seems to like they've got more than a couple of your dudes just sort of as hired security. Although, when you were here previously, the mercenaries were sort of like in the they were all like running around and like gearing up and like preparing to go gnoll hunting. Most of the mercenaries here at the moment seem to be on their way to somewhere else or are like resupplying.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any urgency for them to be anywhere, unlike previously.
I can imagine. There's less. Well, that's what happens when there's less. Well, gnolls attacking your city
Yes.
or village.
Yeah. There's definitely a lack of active quests around here for mercenaries to go on. What with the constant reinforcement of the Amber Eagle.
There's always need for bear arses.
Yep.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's a quest to collect bear
It's a
asses.
quest. The bear asses.
Oh god.
That is actually legitimately a quest in World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Oh, amazing.
And that's why it's made fun of.
Yes. Well, the funny thing is it's a quest making fun of itself that has subsequently been made fun of,
All right.
which is
Yeah. That checks out.
mimetic questing. But yes, the town seems reasonably peaceful under the watchful eye of the Amber Eagle, and seems to be flourishing in terms of the financial income.
That's good, but also boring, but good.
Yes, boring but good. Boring but good could be the tagline for it at the moment.
I thought you were going to say could be the tagline for Second Age at the moment.
Wow!
Wow.
Wow! Do you want to run this?
Dang.
No, that's not. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying that's. Say.
Can't
I thought you were
believe.
gonna like self-burn. I was like, whoa, dude.
Anyway,
Wow.
so yeah, I guess. Does anyone have anything they want to do before you get a test run from Halban Dayglow? I should probably actually spell his name for you guys.
Oh well, I realized Jayla wasn't here, but because before, I don't know if she still wanted to talk to the.
Oh
party
yes,
that was
yeah.
leaving.
You left as I was describing. Like the group is getting ready to leave to go on their various missions. So if you wanted to talk to any of the mercenaries, now is the time.
I think I had my conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind
Yeah, I
of
think I had my conversation because I think the only one that I really would like seek out to talk to is Tallithsyr, and I talked to her last time. So
Yeah, you talked to her. I guess there's a goodbye as you sort of like help her
Yeah.
prep, but that doesn't necessarily need to be a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a thing that needs to be played out because I think it's a pretty. It's the goodbye they usually have when somebody's going somewhere and the other one's not. So
Yes.
yeah, but it does happen. I guess that's important to say. But
So yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to do before we get to that point?
before the chef poisons the entirety of the Ember Eagle.
yeah, and this
Oh,
is the end of the Amber Eagle.
Everyone,
Elizabeth's gonna
Constitution
come back.
saving throw.
No.
Elizabeth's gonna teleport back and everyone's gonna be fucking dead.
Oh, it's like that. What was that? Was it in WoW? There was that story about that person who ran like some inn or something.
Yeah, that was like a big RP. It was like a whole RP thing that was like fully permadeath, but you had to have a good reason to kill someone, and his character got like insta murdered, and the reason was just, oh, my character would just randomly kill him, and it was accepted. So he went and made his character an innkeeper, and it was the most popular inn, and he literally poisoned and killed everyone's character. But when they questioned to be like, was it valid? He pointed them to a journal he'd been secretly writing about how he hated absolutely everybody on the server, and so it was ruled as valid, and they had to reset the whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's dumb as hell.
I read that story once and I was like, damn, you know what? I respect it because it was also like over the course of a long time. Like
Yeah,
that
he
wasn't a
spent-
quick thing.
Yeah, he spent months upon months learning, getting involved with everyone and meeting everyone's character, making sure that everyone came to his tavern.
I cannot imagine being that committed to fucking people over.
Oh, it was so. I mean, yeah, I respect it because the guy's like, hey, my character was killed for a bullshit reason. Everyone's going to get killed for a bullshit reason.
Yeah,
You're gonna change your rules now.
I'm less interested in it for the revenge aspect of it, and more for the commitment and the
Yeah.
the attention to detail and planning that it took to pull
Yeah.
that off, and also have
Yeah.
it like align with the rules that were set to be like,
Yeah.
fuck you, your
Yeah.
rules are dumb.
That's
Because, yeah.
commonly what is referred to as lawful evil.
Yeah. As was pointed out, that book where he wrote that he secretly hated everyone gave him a reason to kill everyone. So they were like, well, guess we just have to restart the whole fucking server from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh well.
so I
They
guess
don't go full murder hobo, because eventually that person will remake their character as a tavern keep and poison you and all your friends.
so I guess nobody has anything else they want to do until Halbun's meal in the evening.
Nope.
So yeah, I guess you do you want this to be a thing for everyone, or do you want this to just be a thing for a handful of folks?
Well, the way I think, he might as well take over for Vandal, like,
For the evening.
Vandal's just gonna be there helping out, so
Okay.
and keeping an eye on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Dolls become assistant chef.
Pretty much. But also because he might not know where everything is, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that way he can't pull any shenanigans.
Yep. Okay.
Vandal gets to judge, like, if it's good enough or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think probably like a couple of hours before the evening meal is scheduled to be set before everyone. Halbun shows up. He's got like a knapsack with like a whole bunch of stuff in it. He seems to have bought like a number of utensils and some ingredients. Vondal takes him in, shows him the ropes of the kitchen, and he begins to prepare. And probably about an hour before you're all scheduled to eat, you all become aware of this smell that is slowly wafting like across the courtyard from the chimney of the kitchens. There is this I guess it's probably like a spice combination that you have possibly all smelled before during your time in the city of Mardan. Where it is a slightly spicy, like warm, like scent. Eventually, the mealtime rolls around, and
I hope these mercs have a spice tolerance.
yeah. So the meal is dished up, and it is essentially you are all provided with a bowl of the slightly spicy smelling broth. That is not dissimilar from what Vondal usually serves under the circumstances, but it's like the sauce itself is much thicker and there's a lot more like taste to it, and it's got like a different assortment of vegetables that would normally be in there instead of just like peas and things. You've got like leeks and other slightly more experimental vegetables in there. And instead of just throwing potatoes or whatever it is in with the broth, you are basically each table is served a number of large flatbreads that appears to have fruit in them. Like not like huge amounts of fruit, but it's like it's got raisins and probably like peel or something in it. which is served alongside the broth, as well as some thick dairy product that is filled with mint.
Is he giving everyone fucking ice cream?
No, it's not ice cream.
Ah.
What?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like ice cream.
It's
at all.
yogurt.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
Minty yogurt.
Yes,
That's
like you would have with spicy broth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So you are essentially fed spicy broth, flatbreads with with a small amount of fruit in them, and mint yogurt.
Sounds really
and-
good.
Yeah, it does sound really good.
Yeah, for real though.
I would eat that
sounds
right
so good.
Yeah, I'd try that. I don't have a spice
It does
tolerance,
sound
so-
good.
I love
But also-
spicy food so much.
Yeah.
Same.
Am I the only one here who doesn't have a spice tolerance then?
Apparently so.
God damn it.
Yeah. So it's not unlike what you would normally be served, except there's a lot more flavor and a lot more variety to it. But even with that considered, the actual materials that have been used are not complicated, not elaborate, not expensive. They are basic ingredients, just done in a completely different way than you would normally have it. And it's good.
You know what? That's what matters. And now I'll just hope that everybody can handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are a couple of mercs who are like they start tucking into it, and after a short while, there's like the faintest tears like running down their like the corners of their face, and they stop dipping the flatbreads into the soup, and they start dipping it into the yogurt instead.
Oh, well.
They learn fast.
We need more yogurt.
More yogurt.
But yes, the overall it seems to be a general success, and there is definitely a lot of like normally when the mercs eat, like they talk amongst themselves, but it's no more than like regular dinner table chat. Like it's nothing special, but there is definitely a more excited atmosphere this evening. Like they are talking about the food, they are like they're definitely engaging a lot more, and they're getting a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, spirits definitely seem to be high with this new variation, and there's a lot of chatter about it. Eventually, everyone has eaten. The dishes are all sort of like stacked up on the edge, and everyone has filed out. And Albon comes out, a broad smile on his face, accompanied by Vondal, who is seemingly like similarly impressed at his progress. He approaches the table where the three of you are sitting. And like he breaks into a grin and says, "So, what did you think?"
Well, you successfully fed everyone, and I think everybody was very pleased.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
And yeah. So, you know, I think this could work. I guess main question then is, well, was there anything? Well, I guess let us know what else you need in the kitchen. And
Yeah, he like his grin sort of like subsides a little, and he becomes sort of like a little bit more serious and says, "Yes, we will need to broaden the range a little, so to speak."
In what sort of way?
Well, for starters, you don't have nearly enough pans.
Well, that should be an easy fix.
Vondal just sort of shrugs and says, I only ever needed one.
Ah. This is going to be a significant upgrade.
I imagine that Vondal is definitely in that space of being like, I'm pleased by this development, but also I'm a little salty.
Yeah.
Wait, I could get another pan?
You can have
To be-
more
to be
than one
fair-
pan?
To be fair, that sounds exactly like my last job, where everyone was like, "You need more, like you don't have very many pans." Like, we only need the one pan.
Yeah, you just throw everything in one pan.
Yeah,
That's...
well, the most pans we ever had going at the same time was 2.
Yeah, but they're probably some big ass pans.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
were fucking.
Oh, they're big-ass pans here.
Yeah, no, I imagine if you're going to feed all these people with one pan, it better be good.
Yeah.
One regular sized pan.
Let me put it this way: the biggest pan that we had in my last job, covered all 4 hobs
Nice.
on one side of the oven. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now just imagine that thing full of soup. Ugh, so heavy. Anyway.
But yes. Yeah, Halvard says, yeah, for starters you will need more pans. I also need a handful more utensils, some investment in spices. Other things I will get to in time, but these are the things I will need immediately. And Vondal just sort of nods and says, I think we can manage that.
Yeah, that's a reasonable request. Although the spices, we might need your judgment on that. But yeah.
He sort of nods and says, yes, I did see a few teary eyes, but that is perhaps to be expected. I will acclimatize them slowly.
Yeah, that's
Make them love the heat.
yeah. I think that would be the best for the whole. But yes, we'll get that done, and yes, will be a pleasure to have you working here.
Yeah, he nods. Vondal produces a bag of coins and hands it to him. Deduct 40 gold from your keep funds. And he says, well, I will be off to say goodbye to my friends, organize who will be seeing to my shifts in the morning, and then I'm all yours.
Excellent. Well, good luck with your affairs, I guess, and we'll see you. Well, we'll see you in a couple of days.
He is led out of the front door by Vondal. As he leaves, peering around from inside the kitchen, holding the large pan that has clearly been used to make the broth, and drinking out of it with a ladle comes Rask. Puts it down, waves to you guys, points at the door where they've just left, and says, I like this one.
Don't worry, he's staying. But although tomorrow we'll have to make do ourselves. Well, Vondal will have to make do again. But after that, we should have him help us out more often. That's for sure. If not, the rest of his days. Well, that sounds odd.
You're just gonna fucking keep this guy here forever.
He can't leave.
Oh,
Chef's
Chain
a
him.
lifetime
Chain him to
appointment.
the kitchen door. You
Chef for
cannot
life
leave.
here.
yeah, we only hire for lifetime positions.
Yeah.
Like the Supreme Court up in this bitch.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the
Supreme
important
chef.
detail of this. I forgot the
Nice.
He's gonna show up tomorrow. He's gonna show up tomorrow. He's gonna walk in. It's like, oh, I forgot the other important detail of this chair. And you've installed a pole in the corner of the room. Just chain him to it. There you go.
Wow.
You're here forever now.
But see, I think there's one problem with that. I don't think he'll cook with the same passion.
No.
No.
Definitely
all.
not.
You're here forever.
Also, let's not forget the moral issue of that.
Yeah, but like
There
I
is
feel
a
like
slight moral issue, yes.
I feel like like if there's the very obvious moral issue, but then there's also it kind of defeats the point of having him if he can't do his job properly.
No,
Yeah.
the chain's long enough for him to get to the whole room. It's just not long enough for him to leave.
That's awful.
It's pretty bad.
Let's ignore that and move along.
Rob's like, oh god.
On a lighter note, it's probably a good thing Elizabeth wasn't there because Elizabeth's probably got the same spice tolerance as me, i.e., none.
I can't believe we got our video demonetized. No.
I'm sorry.
Oh, see, that
gonna
came after
say.
the lack of spice tolerance comment. I was like, wow, do you have no spice tolerance to have a monetized video now?
Yep.
Too
I'm sorry, they
spicy.
admitted to having a...
Oh,
Excuse me, Mr. YouTube. This person doesn't have a high spice tolerance. Shit.
I
Shut him
mean,
down.
there goes half of the YouTube population who's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but a lot of them don't have a spice tolerance.
Well,
True.
Kim's fine, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's
See,
all a lot of
secretly, fucking Hot Pepper Game Review has literally just been a trial because to who gets monetized and who doesn't. All this time.
God.
wow. Can't believe.
Is that show even still going?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Ah.
What even is that?
It was a thing where they used to like talk about video games and eat spicy peppers, and Matt Mercer went on it and he just fucking cried for the whole thing. It was glorious.
That sounds.
Ferrous.
I mean, that sounds like hot ones. That one show. where
Oh,
they
I know what
Oh.
you're
eat
talking
trees
about.
and they eat
Yeah.
spicy food. Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty much...
it also reminds me of another thing, but it's a much more adult version.
We don't need to know about that one. So
That's why I didn't say it.
let's whilst everyone else is sorting out cooks and eating delicious meals, Elizabeth, you have once again been hard at work at your research.
Huzzah.
Give me another extended investigation check.
That's
Okay.
better.
So you settle back down into your research. This time you pack some food to take with you, so you can commit fully to your time in the library.
Because I'm smart.
And yeah, you spend your time going through the books. You once again accumulate basically a wall of books that shields you from everyone else in the library.
No one else looked at me.
And yeah, you are often appreciative of having that wall to actually hide behind, as you are attracting a reasonable amount of attention from the nearby students who are just constantly like passing through the stacks to go and get books, do various work projects, research projects, etc. And as they sort of like pass your corner, there are a number of them who just sort of stop and whisper among themselves and like point at where you're working. There's definitely some student curiosity going on here as you work.
It's making me feel a little uncomfortable, but
Yeah, you do your best
try and
to bury yourself in your work as you go. But yes, the more you work, it's looking. You're beginning to get a handle on exactly how this spell creation process works, but there are so many facets to keep track of. Chief among which seems to be the fact that once a spell is created, in order for it to be performed, it has to have obviously components to it, and it seems like part of the process of scribing a brand new spell is finding the most efficient way to create these components. Often complex spells use material components or foci to minimize the number of these components done, and then there are obviously things like gestures and power words and things that can be used to invoke the magic. And it is a long and complicated process, and it seems like even once you have a spell that functions, there is an additional degree of work, which is cutting the spell down enough to be able to actually reasonably be completed within relative parameters. Because most wizards don't have the time to stand around for an entire day doing components and using materials to cast a spell. So part of it is reducing it enough to get it reasonable to actually cast.
Yeah.
And you're beginning to understand why a lot of people say this isn't a one-man job.
Yeah.
Particularly in the case of the spell you are endeavouring to create, because most of the books that talk about the process of spell creation are talking about fairly minor effects. The scale on which you wish to do it is going to be much greater than anything that is listed in these books. You are beginning to get a handle on what you will perhaps need to target, although it's going to take you a lot of experimentation to get there. And the materials that you are probably going to need to begin this experimentation are not exactly going to be cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to need an awful lot of magic power to do what you want to do. You are a very powerful wizard of yourself, but your power alone will not nearly be enough to cast the spell, even possibly in a more reduced form. You would need a catalyst. As for precisely what that catalyst could be, you don't exactly know. All you know is that you will need something that is a powerful magic object in and of itself.
Yeah.
You may be able to use the compass that you have obtained as part of a component for your spell, but it probably isn't sufficient on its own. You're going to need something to empower yourself to be able to cast it through the compass. And yeah, if you want to get it done in any reasonable amount of time, you're probably, again, going to have to rope in some help.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming to this conclusion, I think Elizabeth reckons it's about time she just went back and reported in, because, yeah, no further progress is going to be made by her sitting here reading books.
Okay.
So, I guess at the end of this day's research, she probably doesn't go quite as late. Like,
yeah,
she's going to start packing up.
Okay. Yeah, you put away all the books, thank the librarian for her efforts. Head out into the grounds, find a quiet corner, and bamf yourself back to the Amber Eagle.
Yeah. In the usual spot, slightly further away, so I don't
Yeah.
scare anyone.
So as the three of you are departing from the kitchen after your meal, you are in the process of crossing the courtyard, heading in whatever direction it is that you're heading to go and do your own thing, when the main gates are opened by the guards and Elizabeth steps through.
She's probably doing that thing where you're like her head slightly down, and she's just got one hand on her forehead, and she's clearly thinking intensely.
Yeah.
And she's probably autopilot is like walking just to the quarters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The rest of you see this.
Well, I guess. No, she's heading straight to her quarters. Isn't she?
Yeah. She looks like she's headed straight to her lodging.
I guess I'm not gonna bother her. I guess.
Okay. You just sort of leave her to it.
I don't know about the others.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything.
I mean, we didn't. Did we expect her to come back like way later, or did we just not know when she was coming back?
It wasn't quite clear, I think.
Yeah, she
Okay.
she said she was going away to do research, and if anything came up, then to message her.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it didn't seem to, there's probably like surprise, but if she doesn't look like frantic with worry and just seems to be thinking, then I'll leave her to do her thinking. She
Yeah.
seems to be in a mood.
So she just like blindly walks past all of you and goes inside.
She's gonna go to a room. She's gonna get out Scarlet, and she's gonna do the thing where you process by talking to a thing that can't necessarily talk back.
Rubber ducking, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a slight idea that obviously you don't want to go into this kind of big spell creating thing blind. So she's like, "What if I tried making something smaller first, just so I know what I'm doing?"
Okay.
Because like the spell we want to make is quite big, so I want to try and make a smaller spell.
Kind of
If that's
the practice
possible.
run.
Yeah. Because then making the smaller spell, I can try and make more accurate predictions on exactly how long a bigger spell is going to take and what exactly it's going to entail and all of that malarkey.
Well, that is assuming that those things are related.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of this is based. You know, a lot of this you kind of make some assumptions and you test it, and then you go, okay, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Slightly adjust.
The scientific method.
Yeah.
Yes.
Magic is just science.
But you need at least you need to do it at least twice to get any clue if it's
Yeah.
What
Okay. Cool. In that case, I'll make 2 spells.
Okay. So you go away and you rubber duck with Scarlet. Anybody got anything else they want to do before they head to bed?
I'm just trying to process you all calling it rubber ducking and everyone accepting that that is what the term is.
Wait, have you never heard of that?
I have never heard it called that before in my life.
I've never heard it called that, but I've learned not to question things.
That's the official term.
Yeah.
That's they even teach it like that at at Oxford, I believe.
Yeah, it is an established method of problem solving because it's I forget where the term comes from, but it's basically the premise
I
is
assume someone talking to a rubber duck. Like,
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
you explain the premise like to a rubber duck, and because the rubber duck can't offer any interjection, you basically reflect on like putting your thoughts into words.
I mean, I like the concept obviously makes sense, but the name is the only thing that I'm like.
Yeah, it is
Look, what else
officially
is-
rubber ducking.
Yeah, think of things that you might have in your house.
No, I mean it just
what
makes
do you-
sense.
what would you
It
talk-
makes sense.
I
I'm
have
not
a-
a rubber duck.
I
I
have a-
gotta say, rubber duck's not my first choice.
I have a plastic figurine of Toad from Super Mario, and I rubber duck with Toad.
Oh,
That's very good.
I've got various stuffed animals. I've got a papercraft Josephine I could use.
Yes, yeah, like I would choose a stuffed animal before I chose a rubber duck, but
I could even explain away all of my problems to the Archangel Tyrael.
Honestly, I completely expect the origin to be that somebody was just sitting in a bathtub talking through
like
their problem.
literally
That
that's
is
what
almost
I
Yeah.
was
exactly.
imagining.
Yeah, that is probably exactly what it is.
Yeah. Because honestly, shower and bath, great times to
Yeah.
reflect. on
Yes.
problems.
True.
Yeah, shower thoughts, man.
Yep.
Yeah, this does probably mean I feel slightly bad for whoever has the room next to Elizabeth because they could probably hear her, at least a little bit. It's like ranting and raving.
It's Arya, so it doesn't matter. You won't keep her awake.
Oh yeah. Congratulations, Arya! You get to listen to Elizabeth rambling about how spell creation. Yay!
Oh yay!
Imagine the last person Arya wants to listen to rambling is Elizabeth.
I'll just put in some earplugs. It's fine.
Fantasy earplugs.
It's fine. Your mind is a
It's
fortress.
like wax, right? What?
Your mind is a fortress.
Oh, yeah.
My mind is a fortress.
It's gonna go into your fortress of solitude.
See, and if everything else fails, just lie your head on like in Lyra's fur. It's like
There you go.
This Lyra just sits on your head. Just pulls-
Oh my God. I would die if she sat on my head. Pretty sure she would crush me with her.
Or better idea, right? So you just lie down, so the pillow's blocking one ear, and then Lyra just the other.
You just use her tail. She'll just like lay her tail on top of you.
Lay
Yeah.
her tail across my ears.
Across your face, yeah. Across your face, just dog tail.
I mean, again, beeswax exists.
Yep.
You know,
Like,
that-
we don't have to make this more
have
complicated than
any
But that's
beeswax.
because that's only because you're a ranger and you're like practical with nature. That's,
I mean, for that matter, you could probably just take the fur that Lyra sheds.
yeah, but like
Now
fur
I've
is
just got
less
mental
pleasant
image.
than.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Beeswax still isn't.
Look, no, look.
great.
All I'm thinking is now I've got the mental image of Arya just walking along with the party. She sees some beeswax off to the corner. She looks at the party who are all talking. Back to the beeswax, goes, "I'm gonna need some of this at some
Oh.
point."
I also imagine she just has a thick hood that she could just put over her ears, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Anyway,
Arya does the equivalent of putting headphones on.
yeah.
She really do.
What do your elf ears hear, Arya? Too much.
Absolutely nothing.
Too much. Stop talking. Hood up.
See, now there's a question I want to know the answer to. If Arya had an iPod, what would be on it?
It would just be like the most emo shit you ever heard.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's entirely just fucking MCR.
yeah.
Oh my god.
No, it'd be that, and then there'd be a secret folder somewhere that's all the songs that make her think of Joldrim.
Yep.
And no one is ever allowed to see that folder, especially not Joldrim.
Exactly. I can't
And
let
if
him see
anyone
my
does, they could
embarrassing
basically
playlist.
blackmail her with that knowledge.
I mean, she'd probably kill them first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then
Oh
they
yeah,
die.
they'd blackmail her and then immediately die, but you know, they could do it in theory.
Oh well. I think
Yeah.
we'll wait till tomorrow with
Okay.
approaching Elizabeth.
Yeah, so in that case, I guess you all turn in for the evening, and at that point, we will take a short break.